When is a watch more than the sum of its parts? When do you develop that connection to it where you say, that one's probably never going to leave my collection? And when a $150 watch makes that connection, is it any less valuable? Today we're not going to do so much a review as a Father's Day story. And a happy Father's Day to everybody out there who is leaning in to being good fathers, good husbands, and just all around good men. We need a few more these days. So today we take a look at the Deep Blue Master 1000.
So if you ain't got nothing better to do, let's waste some time.
So this is going to be a brief story. It's not going to be an in-depth review of the Deep Blue. I'll do that at some point in the future. But really, it's about how this watch has become a permanent part of my collection. This watch, it's a pretty big, beefy watch, about 44 millimeters, 15 thick, and it's a bigger watch. But what drew me to it, and more importantly, what drew my daughter to it, was the white dial, the red hands, and the blue bezel. And that to her represented freedom. And we raise our kids to make their own choices, to make their own decisions. And about 2 years ago, my daughter decided that she wanted to be baptized. Many of you know, but some of you may not. Baptism is an important part of the journey of the Christian faith. It is when someone wants to make a public declaration to follow Jesus Christ, follow the teachings that are laid out in the Bible. And my daughter had come to me and had expressed her desire to do that. But special to me was that she wanted me to do the baptism. And so our church oftentimes has just gone out to a public lake, and several people who are planning to be baptized all get baptized in the same afternoon, same moment, if you will. And so I had the opportunity to walk out into the water and baptize my daughter. And I was wearing this watch, and she specifically asked me to do that because of the connection to freedom and her understanding that baptism was freeing her from a past life, and so that she could look forward to the future. So we didn't have, or she did not want to make any of her baptism video part of this, but we did get something very close. I think perhaps only a couple things are different. So if we can roll a clip of part of her baptism with the names changed to protect the innocent.
The preacher said all my sins is washed away, including that Piggly Wiggly I knocked over in Yazoo.
I thought you said you was innocent of those charges.
Well, I was lying. And the preacher said that sin's been washed away too. Neither God nor man's got nothing on me now. Come on in, boys. The water is fine.
Okay, so that probably wasn't the actual baptism video, because my daughter is a girl, and she didn't knock over a Piggly Wiggly. Other than that, it was pretty much the same. And I'll roll in a couple photos here of her and I that day. Now, one thing that drew me to watches, and probably always will, is their unique ability to be part of your life. And if you really want to get poetic, the automatic watches are given their power by the movement of your life. So there is certainly a romantic or a poetic connection to the movement of my life and a watch continuing to function. And it was funny because when we were out in the lake, the watch actually played a role. Our pastor had asked if I wanted to take the watch off, and my daughter laughed and said, "No, it's a diver. It'll be just fine." She'd already been schooled a bit in watches and knew that it was meant to be a part of this moment, and actually went under the water as I dunked her. I was tempted to hold her down underwater a little longer, just to let her know that I'm still her paw, but we did it in an appropriate fashion. So, the watch will eventually be hers one day, or maybe her children, whatever she decides to do. But it has become a member of the Hyatt folklore, if you will. It is now something that bridges the gap between the past and the future. It is a piece of kit that has a function in terms of telling the time. The Deep Blue is a pretty rugged, tough beater watch, and for what it's worth, a pretty affordable one at that. And so it isn't a $5,000 watch or a $10,000 watch. And I think that's what this channel is always going to be about, is the common man's approach, the working man's connection to a good piece of kit, in this case, watches. So thank you for allowing me just to spend a few moments telling my story here on Father's Day. To all the fathers out there, God bless, and here's to you.